Before the lights warmed the stage, a barefoot boy stood backstage, clutching a cracked guitar whose strings had been tightened too many times. His hands trembled not from fear alone, but from memory. He whispered a prayer into the splintered wood, the same prayer his mother used to whisper while scrubbing floors late at night. Her hands once bled so his throat could learn songs. Tonight his voice carried hunger, hope, and history. When the curtains parted, the room fell silent. The kind of silence that feels heavy and holy at the same time. Judges leaned forward. The crowd forgot their phones. He closed his eyes and sang, not to impress, not to win, but to thank. Every note carried crowded bus rides, missed meals, and nights spent studying by candlelight when electricity failed. His voice didn't just echo music. It echoed survival. The melody sounded familiar, like something from another era, yet it felt reborn in his chest. Skepticism softened into wonder. Smiles broke through guarded faces. Tears surprised strangers who didn't know why they were crying. Simon's eyebrow lifted, then his carefully built walls quietly fell. The boy's name floated across the room like a promise finally kept. When the last note faded, he didn't celebrate. He bowed low, pressing his forehead toward the floor, searching the crowd for one face. His mother stood shaking, uniform creased, eyes shining with disbelief and pride. Years ago, people told them music was a luxury for rich dreams, not poor homes. Tonight, music fed everyone in that room. As applause thundered, one truth rang louder than sound itself. Kindness survives poverty. Sacrifice builds legacies. And love trains the bravest voices the world will ever hear. Back home, the morning after the applause, reality returned quietly, like an unpaid bill slipped under the door. Fame was still a distant word. School bells rang the same, and work waited without mercy. He practiced in stolen moments, fingers aching as he tuned strings with borrowed coins. His mother left before sunrise, hiding blistered hands beneath a gentle smile, insisting that sacrifice was simply love wearing work clothes. At school, whispers followed him through hallways. Some classmates praised him, others mocked his accent, calling dreams like his unrealistic. A teacher, meaning well but speaking carelessly, suggested he choose something practical and let music remain a hobby. The words cut deeper than insults. Hurt turned into silence. He skipped rehearsals, avoided songs, and questioned the gift he once trusted. One evening, while searching for a notebook for class, he found his mother's old journal tucked beneath folded uniforms. Its pages were filled with schedules, prayers, and careful numbers. In the margins, his name appeared again and again, written like a promise she refused to break. He realized she had quietly sold her wedding ring years earlier, funding lessons and strings he never knew about. Shame melted into gratitude, and gratitude into resolve. The next day, he apologized to his teachers, returned to practice, and asked for help instead of hiding. At graduation, his name was called not just for talent, but for service. He had spent weekends teaching younger children to sing confidence before notes. The room was small, the stage uneven, yet joy filled every corner. He learned then that success is not measured by applause, but by how many hearts you lift while rising. Returning to the stage felt heavier than the first time, not because of fear, but because expectations pressed down like unseen weight. Backstage buzzed with hurried voices and flashing lights. Yet his attention settled on a single sound drifting through the corridor. A cleaner was humming softly while wiping the floor, her voice untrained, imperfect, and full of quiet longing. No one noticed her. He stopped, listened, and something inside him softened. Without thinking, he offered his guitar. She laughed nervously, refused at first, then sang anyway, her voice trembling but honest. In that brief moment, the stage disappeared and music became human again. Moments later, under bright lights, the judges asked about his inspiration. Instead of naming legends or trophies, he spoke about the people who sing without stages, whose labor keeps dreams alive. The audience shifted, surprised by the truth in his words. Simon listened carefully, nodding, a rare respect crossing his face. When the performance began, his voice soared, but humility anchored every note. Halfway through, a guitar string snapped, slicing the silence. Gasps rippled through the room. He paused, closed his eyes, and continued without music. His bare voice filled the space, fragile and powerful all at once. The silence leaned toward him. When he finished, applause felt warmer, deeper, earned through vulnerability. Backstage, the cleaner cried and hugged him, thanking him for seeing her. Cameras missed it, but that unseen moment mattered most. He requested public recognition for backstage staff, and names were read aloud, faces lit with dignity. He understood then that greatness grows when platforms become bridges, and music remembers people before applause ever does. Before the final performance, a shadow crept in from the outside world. A rumor spread online questioning his story, suggesting his struggle was exaggerated for sympathy. Doubt moved faster than truth, bruising trust and shaking confidence. Sponsors hesitated, comments turned cruel, and the boy withdrew, carrying shame for a lie he never told. He stopped checking messages and sat in silence, wondering how easily kindness could be doubted. His mother watched quietly, then reminded him that truth does not argue or shout. It simply stands and waits. Instead of defending himself, she invited him to attend a small reunion of workers he had once honored. In a simple hall, cleaners, drivers, cooks, and guards gathered, laughing and sharing food. They sang together, off-key and fearless, filling the room with belonging. Someone recorded the moment, not for attention but for memory. The video found its way online, and people saw him there, not performing, just listening and serving. The tone shifted. The rumor lost its power. He was invited to a public ceremony, not to sing, but to speak. Standing before the crowd, he honored teachers who believed, workers who endured, parents who sacrificed. Tears flowed freely, and justice felt gentle, not loud. Simon listened in silence, then stood and applauded words over notes. The misunderstanding dissolved without argument. That night, when he finally sang again, he dedicated the song to those unseen. Thousands of phone lights glowed, constellations of care. He learned that reputations heal through consistency, not defense, and that redemption often arrives quietly when humility leads the way. On the final night, the stage felt different, calmer, as if it already knew the ending. He sang the same song he had offered at the beginning, but this time it moved slower, deeper, carrying everything he had learned. Behind him, a screen filled with faces, his mother in her uniform, the cleaner from backstage, teachers, classmates, and children he had taught to sing. The room felt held together by memory. When the last note faded, there was silence before applause, the kind that settles in the chest. Simon spoke only one word, heavy with meaning: pride. The trophy went to someone else, and the boy accepted it with a smile that needed no explanation. What followed mattered more. Scholarships were announced, music programs were funded, letters arrived from people who felt seen for the first time. His mother, once bent by labor, removed her uniform and enrolled in evening classes, cheered by strangers who now knew her name. Years later, at her graduation, he stood in the audience and handed her a microphone. Her voice trembled, unpolished and brave, filling the hall. He clapped through tears, understanding the circle had closed. The boy kept singing, but he listened more. He taught, mentored, and shared credit freely. Viewers carried the story forward, promising to be kinder in small, ordinary ways. In the end, the world remembered not just a voice that honored legends, but a heart that proved humanity is the greatest performance of all.